Welcome to the #1 spot health and wellness practitioners go to double their current income and turn their 10-hour work day into a 10-hour work week. Join us as we dive into the tips, tools, and tech you need to create a life and practice on your own terms. More freedom, flexibility, fulfillment, and of course, funds. It's time to build your online practice. And I'm your host, Michelle Rogers, also known as the Wealthy Woman. Be sure to subscribe for your weekly dose of education, inspiration, and action. Let's get started. Here we are. Welcome to this masterclass that I put together. And again, any questions, pop them in the comments. I will definitely get to those for sure. And I know that there were a couple questions that were posted inside of the event page as well. So I will go ahead and make sure to address those too. So let me just pull those up just so I don't forget them. And you guys can also remind me to go and grab those also if we need to. So let me go to the events page. Pick this up. Okay, here I've got the questions in front of me now. Perfect. So we'll definitely go back to those. All right. So again, welcome. I'm Michelle. If we haven't met yet, I have been in practice for over a decade now. I have a background in naturopathic medicine, acupuncture, functional diagnostic nutrition, and I've been completely online for the past 4+ years. I specialize in high-ticket programs, and today I'm going to show you how I integrate functional labs and how functional labs have really helped me to elevate those programs. So really, essentially, I'm going to be showing you how I went from charging $180 an hour, right? Brick-and-mortar practice. And this was the cash-based practice. Let's not even talk about the insurance model because I did that too. To charging $18K per client. Okay. Now, also stay put till the end because I'm going to give you the exact breakdown of everything that you need to actually start this process yourself. Okay. And I'm going to be drinking my tea while I'm doing this. As some of you may or may not know, note takers are money makers, right? So I encourage you to stay engaged if you are attending live. If you are watching the replay, I also encourage you to treat it as if you're watching it live. So if I ask questions or whatever, pop them in the comments, respond, because that is how this information is really going to sink in and you're going to be able to embody it, okay? So do your best to focus and remove distractions, right? So my philosophy, when we give our body the right information, instructions, environment, it will do what it does best, which is heal, right? I think a lot of you can relate to that. I think a lot of you inherently believe that as well. That's why we're doing what we're doing in the world, right? So we have the capacity to change the world. I believe this at a core, deep soul level. There are a lot of people seeking our help right now, and even the smallest little shifts that we can offer can really transform people's lives and even save people's lives. I just had an office hours earlier today inside the Wealth Mentorship, and we were talking about what we do, and how using these labs, we can literally save lives. So there's a lot of prevention that we can tap into. Yeah. So it has been a ride, let me tell you. So going from, the insurance paradigm, brick and mortar, primary care, which I did for 4 years, totally burnt out, totally exhausted, totally unfulfilled, totally depressed, right? Going into cash-based practice, brick and mortar still for 2 years, specializing in women's health, still a huge missing piece, right? Still just feeling like hustle. And then I went cold turkey into the virtual space. Do not recommend that, okay? So I don't recommend doing cold turkey. We can chat more about transition, but I've done a lot of stuff. So, functional labs is something I've been doing for over 10 years. I used to be real proud of my white coat and stethoscope and all the things. Done tons of workshops, done a lot of body work myself. I've done the podcast things. I've taken the terrible portraits. But anywho, it's been a learning curve, right? And so I'm like on the other side of things, and I ended up doing a lot of things and some of the most potent things correctly. And that's why I'm here. It's what I want to share with you. And I hope that you glean something from our talk this evening. And if this sparks additional questions, do not hesitate to reach out. I love having conversations. So after 10 years, I discovered, how to address client obligations or objections when it comes to labs, right? There's a lot of people out there, a lot of practitioners who are like, I can't get my client or my patient to order labs, right? So really figuring out what it is, the bridge that we need to gap for them to truly get it, to understand the importance and the value that labs provide for us. Also, what your ideal client really wants and what they will pay for, why most practices fail, especially virtual practices, how to add immense value to your services with functional labs and create effortless yes sales, the core functional lab tests that make the most impact and get reliable results, and the main strategy that most practitioners are missing. So I discovered all this the hard way. Believe me, it's not easy, but you get to collapse time and take the easy route, right? That is the beauty of learning from people who are a few steps ahead of you. And I'm not at all saying that I have all of the answers or anything like that, but I do know how to run a virtual practice, and I know how to get you to get high, to get clients. Okay. Now you are likely here tuning in because there is, I'm just going to move my picture of myself over there. My guess is that you're probably feeling a little bit intrigued, a little bit overwhelmed. You're ready to charge what you're worth, but unsure how to increase your value and integrate functional lab analysis into your practice. You might be getting inconsistent results with your clients or your patients. You know that there's a piece missing that could really unlock additional healing potential and lead to a consistent stream of referrals. Right? Happy clients lead to referrals, testimonials, all the good things. And then imposter syndrome. It gets the best of us, and it gets us exactly when we're about to leave or dive into the next level version of ourselves. So you understand the value of functional labs, but you're lacking the confidence to apply them actually in practice, right? You're like, ooh, functional labs, like they're so cool, they're amazing. And like, I feel like I don't know enough. Right? I think that's probably the biggest thing a lot of practitioners think, like, I don't know enough. So if this sounds like you, you're in the right place and I've got you covered. If you are watching live, say yes in the comments. I want to see if this is resonating. If you guys are watching the replay, also type in the comments, yes, I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see it. Okay. So what my goal is for you to walk away with clarity and direction. Okay. So you're going to know which labs resonate with your effortless yes program and how to start integrating them into your practice. I'm actually going to share all the labs that I use, and also the main strategy that I've created, my signature strategy, over the past 10 years. So you're also going to learn how to get reliable results. So you'll see how all these pieces fit together to start offering more comprehensive and consistent care that gets results, right? And what happens when we get results? We have happy clients, we have talking clients, we have raving fans, we have referrals, we have testimonials, right? It is the key to a successful, thriving, scaling practice, right? So also having more confidence and motivation. You're going to know the next step needed to boost your confidence, skill set, and ability to effectively create personalized protocols. Okay? So I will walk you through what is working right now, but I will also say that this is not for the average person or practitioner to get rich quick, right? It's not like just raise your prices, right? I think there's a lot of mentors, coaches out there, at least in the business world, that are like, just raise your prices. That's all you need to do. And I disagree. I actually disagree completely. But anyways, not everyone gets the same results, right? But I will show you what worked for me and has worked for several of the clients that I have worked with, or practitioners specifically that I've worked with. So, Thomas Edison, if we all did the things we are capable of doing, we would literally astound ourselves, right? So let's talk about the 3 secrets to 100x, or 100 times your value. Secret number 1, make more money in one day than in 1 month. Secret number 2, take more time off and still make money. Secret number 3, choose the exact people you want to work with. So who is watching and they're like, what are you even talking about? Like, how are any of these possible, right? Because I used to think that. I used to be like, what the actual F? Like what? So secret number one, I can make more money in one day than I used to in an entire month, right? So doing this through high value is key here, high value, high ticket programs. Okay. So I can make more money in one day by selling high ticket, high value program than I can in an entire month struggling with the fee for service model. I'm not even going to address the insurance model here, guys. Like, if you're still in the insurance model, please get out of it. Get out of it. Right. So, but if you're still charging, time for dollars, time to open up your eyes a little bit, right? At least my goal here is to really show you what's possible, right? So you can at least plant some seeds, think about it, mull it over, whatever you need. So, in the $180 an hour model, right? Typical cash-based hourly rate for health and wellness practitioners. Maybe you're charging more than this, maybe you're charging less than this. Regardless, you're still trading time for dollars, right? If we think about like a 10K month, like getting to a 10K month, you would literally need like 56 patient hours per month or 14 patient hours per week, not including charting, researching, overhead expenses. Am I right? Like, no, thank you. No, thank you. Right? Now, down at the bottom left here, if you have a 5K program, now this is the low end of really what's possible, right? When you offer high value, high ticket program, 5K program. That is like the lowest out of the over 75 practitioners that I've trained inside the WELLthy mentorship. 5K, 5,500 is probably the lowest ticket program that they've created, right? And they end up increasing that rate very quickly. I just had a call with a practitioner today. She's been in the mentorship for 6 weeks. She's already sold 3 programs at 7,500 per program. And her goal is by January to increase that to 10K. Okay. So going back to the 5K program, if you were running a 5K program, that would just be 2 new clients a month, right? And if you have a virtual practice, your overhead is minimal, right? Minimal. All right. Secret number 2. I can take more time off and still make money, right? So this is really all about leveraging your time. This is why I love high value, high ticket programs. Since I'm no longer trading my time for dollars, right? And essentially still living paycheck to paycheck, right? How many of you are living paycheck to paycheck, right? It might be bigger paychecks than when we were like a teenager, like early 20s, but it still feels like that paycheck to paycheck living, right? I can take more time off without affecting my monthly revenue, right? I currently take 1 week off each month and my revenue is consistent. 1 week off every month. The last week of the month, I have my calendar blocked out completely. No calls. So anytime I show up to Voxer or Slack or any type of communication, social media or whatever, is that a pure choice, right? There's no obligation that week. And that's really what that week's all about for me. It's like, I don't want any obligation. I just want to flow, what feels good. I want to create white space because that allows more creativity to come. It allows me to show up in a much more powerful way for my clients and my practitioners, right? I hope this is resonating with you. So breaking it down, back to the $180 $180 per hour model, right? You need to be present face to face to make money, right? Literally. Whether or not you're doing telemed or if you're doing face-to-face in person, right? In my opinion, telemed is really no different than in person. You're still either working for the insurance paradigm or you're doing fee for service, right? Virtual practice is very different. We can talk more about that if you like. 10K per month. You need to have a consistent influx of new and returning clients or patients to maintain that consistent revenue, right? If you want to hit that 10K per month mark. Okay. If you have a 5K program now, bottom left, your program includes all the fees associated with overhead, face-to-face, time, research, charting, communication, everything. It's comprehensive, right? So if we think about, okay, what does it take to get to 10K per month with a 5K program? You can have consistent revenue without being present by combining paid in full options or monthly installment options. And recently, my third-party funder has opened up spots for my wealth mentorship practitioners because they see the results that we're getting. So they're happy to help fund these programs if needed for clients, patients who need that kind of support. Secret number 3, I only choose to work with aligned clients who value my expertise. Okay. So work with people who are ready to get results, ready to do the work, ready to invest, right? You need to invest to be invested. Okay. So instead of desperately trying to fill my practice with 200 plus patients to get by, I've been there. I can be more selective with who I choose to work with, and I only work with people who are ready and willing to invest the time, energy, and money required to create long-term, life-changing results. Okay. So back to the breakdown. So if we're doing the fee-for-service model again, $180 per hour, your service is a commodity, right? People are actually going to shop around for the lowest price option, right? You're not standing out. You're not unique. There's no special sauce. There's no anything. It's just like, oh, well, this person charges $150 an hour, so I'm just going to go over there, right? So to get to that 10K per month mark, you need to accept anyone and everyone who comes through that door to make ends meet, which leads to resentment and exhaustion, right? Just as a little reflection piece for you, what percentage of your current client or patient base is, or would you consider to be an ideal client where it feels really, really, really good to work with them? Like it feels like a really good energetic exchange, because I know you have had clients and patients where you see them on the schedule and it's like, oh, like today is going to be a day, like what are they coming in with today? Like, it just feels like, ooh, like your insides are like, anyways, I don't miss it. I haven't had to experience it in quite some time. So if we go to the 5K program, high value, high ticket program model, you are offering a unique service. Unique is key here, that encompasses exactly what your ideal client has been searching for. It's no longer about the money, right? They see this irresistible offer that you've created that's literally created for them. And they're like, oh my God, I've been searching for this for years. I have been to 5, 10, 15, 20 different practitioners, naturopathic doctors, functional medicine practitioners, you name it. They've been to them and still no results, right? They've been nickeled and dimed for every email and text or whatever, right? Not a good feeling. So this program encompasses everything. They're like, oh my gosh, I get the laugh, I get the support, I get all of this stuff, right? It's all included. It feels really safe. It feels like a really supportive container, a really healing container to be in. If we're looking at to get to 10K months with a 5K program, you end up magnetizing people who inherently value your services, your expertise, and are ready to take action and follow through with your recommendations. So why most practitioners can't charge high ticket. This is the missing piece for exponential growth. So where most practitioners fail. Now, I see a lot of practitioners who underestimate the initial effort it takes to make sure that their clients are feeling happy, safe, and successful. I know this might seem a little bit simplistic, but if you think about those words, like it's really, 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 really important. Happy, safe, and successful. Okay? If you lack the skills to make your clients feel understood and important, they start complaining, they stop showing up or doing the work, they ask for refunds, or worst of all, they share their negative experience with others. Okay? So again, to create a sustainable practice, you need to get reliable results. So unfortunately, what I typically see, which I think is the wrong approach. Now, I don't really like using wrong and right and all of that kind of stuff, but you get what I'm trying to say here. Most practitioners are still blindly guessing how to approach their clients' cases based on symptoms and possibly a few cherry-picked labs, right? Without knowing what's going on at a cellular level, we're offering nothing more than someone can get with a health coach and a simple doctor Google search, right? Your clients and patients deserve more. Period. And this is the analogy that I teach my practitioners, but I also share with my clients. So think of a painting or a mural, something just like massive and beautiful, right? When we look at only one or two biomarkers or even one or two lab tests, it's like trying to appreciate that painting or that mural or that amazing piece of art through a pinhole, right? We can't see the full picture. Our mind ends up filling in the gaps and making assumptions based on information that is not present, right? Practitioners ask me all the time, well, can I make like a cheaper program that just includes like one lab or two labs? And it's like, sure. And you're still going to be in that same boat. You're going to feel like your hands are tied behind your back because you're missing vital information that could give you so much more clarity on what's going on. Okay. So what I would love to see is empowered practitioners who empower their clients. Practitioners creating more comprehensive strategies with customized protocols that create consistent results. Clients getting the support, care, and follow through that they deserve from practitioners who see, hear, and understand them. And practitioners who are taken care of physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially so they can show up even better for their clients and the people they love, right? If you're fully taken care of, imagine what that would feel like. Like even just sitting in your body, what would that feel like to be fully taken care of? Like you show up in a much different way, right? There's no scarcity, fear, urgency, tension, stress. It's like, like I'm really in a place where I can give from overflow instead of from sustenance. So note, your reputation is your most important asset, and your ability to consistently charge high ticket depends on it. Depends on your reputation, right? So get those reliable results. Now, integrating functional labs, which I think is why most of you are here and watching, for a more customized and effective approach with your clients. Okay, so comprehensive labs provide validation, confidence, and strategy. So validation, your client feels more seen, heard, and understood. Confidence, you and your client or patient feel more confident. Strategy, you're able to create a strategy that actually works. Okay. So we all know, or most of us, I shouldn't assume, but most of us know about bioindividuality, right? We're all biologically and genetically unique and are all impacted by various life experiences and exposures. So our overall health is determined by these unique factors, plus the health of our biological terrain. The concept of epigenetics allows us to take control of our health outcome, right? So this is kind of setting the stage for diving into a lab. So what do I actually run in practice, and what do I teach inside the WELLthy mentorship? Adrenal and hormone health, right? To measure stress resilience, to prevent burnout, to restore hormonal balance. Digestive analysis, assessing the health of the digestive tract, microbiome, identifying any pathogenic or opportunistic imbalances that might be present. Food sensitivities, identifying which foods are currently triggering an inflammatory response that is interfering with healing. The key word there is currently. I know for myself, I had a love-hate relationship with food sensitivity tests for years until I found this one I'm going to tell you about in just a moment. But they do change, right? Depending on what we're currently eating, what our current exposures are, what our current level of inflammation is, what our current level of gut health is. That's why there's so much variability in results, right? So the test that I end up using for the adrenal and hormone health assessment is the Dutch Plus. I love the Dutch Plus because it includes the cortisol awakening response, or the CAR, that the Dutch Complete does not have. So on the adrenal panel, it actually has 5 dots instead of 4. Digestive analysis, I use the GI map, and I add zonulin onto that. And then food sensitivities, I use the MRT. I use the MRT 170 specifically. And I love this test for food sensitivities because it is an endpoint test. So any food that's causing any type of inflammatory response, histamines, IgG, cytokine, any of that kind of stuff is going to be picked up by this test. And I found it to be just incredibly helpful in my protocols. Organic acids. So identifying specific nutrient deficiencies, metabolic function, neurotransmitter balance, toxicant exposures, and mitochondrial function. Blood chemistry analysis, identifying inflammatory factors, blood sugar imbalances, nutrient imbalances, thyroid and immune function. And then genomics, addressing genetic patterns and long-term health through targeted nutrient therapy and lifestyle enhancements. And the tests that I like to use and I'm most familiar with are the Organics Comprehensive. For the blood chemistry, I do have a functional blood chemistry panel that I've been using for the past 10 years or so that I've created. And then I've got the DNA company that I use for functional genomics. Now, I'm very curious. Have you run any or all of these labs on yourself? So let me know in the comments what lab you have actually run on yourself. I'm going to see if there's any kind of delay going on here. Hi, Leslie. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Nina. Hi, Karen. Hoarder of knowledge over here. Me too. Okay, perfect. I'm glad you guys can hear me. Okay, cool. So let me know the tests that you have run on yourself. And again, if you're watching the replay, act like you're watching it live. Just dump it in the comments. I want to know. And the reason I ask is because I personally think it's so important to go through these processes ourselves before we request it of our clients and our patients, right? Because, and on top of that, just the importance of being able to walk them through the process, right? I don't know if any of you have ever done a Dutch Plus, but holy heck, that is complicated, right? So I learned by going through it myself a few times that I need to set alarms. There's like certain notifications I have to set for myself just to make sure that I'm doing it correctly, right? So just having that personal experience helps me walk my clients through that, okay? All right, so the strategy. So the labs, again, you don't have time to guess, right? No one has time. Like, no, we don't have time for that. No one has time for that. You don't have time for that. Your clients and patients don't have time for that. Like, no one wants guessing. No one wants guessing. So the labs give us the roadmap, right? You cannot heal the gut if the adrenals are burned out. Maybe you've never heard that before, but this has been my experience over the past 10 years and now taking over 75 practitioners through the Wealth Mentorship, them doing my protocol. So who knows how, I don't even know how many clients and patients have been affected by these protocols by now. Honestly, it's kind of cool to think about, but this is so key. So address the adrenals first, right? Because otherwise the body doesn't have the resources, the resiliency to be able to heal, right? Okay. And you can't detox the body until your gut lining is healed, right? If it's leaky and inflamed, you start mobilizing toxins. Guess where those toxins go, right? But how many of you know, health coaches out there, practitioners even, who knows what, websites or whatever, who just recommend doing like juice cleanses and detoxes and all of this stuff. And how many people actually feel like total garbage while they're going through these things, right? Like, come on. I'm really passionate about this, if you can tell. So anyhow, I run all the labs at the same time, all of them, all 6 of them at the same time, okay? So I can really see a comprehensive picture of what's going on at the cellular level. And then we're considering the subjective and objective data, helping to formulate a plan that works for that person in that period of their life, right? So subjective being the symptoms, right? What they're experiencing on the day-to-day. I just need to turn on my fan because I'm getting warm. The subjective, what they're dealing with, day-to-day symptoms, all the things, right? And then the objective is the labs. right? We need to look at them both together. And it's not just the labs, right? It's how you interpret them, right? How many of you work with clients or patients who are like, oh yeah, like I can have my primary care order the GI map or whatever. And it's like, cool, that's great, but how many has he or she interpreted, and do they actually know what to do with that information, right? Likely that's a no. Likely that's a no. So who wants to know what's inside of, who wants to know what's inside of my 18K program? Curious. Nina's run similar tests, but not those exactly. Crystal says ran several of them on myself and run these in others locations. Awesome. Nina said I do a food intolerance and CFAP on myself. Run Dutch tests on patients. Awesome. Awesome. Sarah says haven't done a GI map yet. You have to do a GI map. It's so informative. I love that. I love that. There's always a delay. I'm assuming you guys want to see what's inside my 18K program, so we're just going to make that assumption. So 6 months of unlimited support. This includes consults and voice notes. Keep in mind, I do take that last week of the month off because guess what? I get to make the rules, right? Some practitioners are like, wait, you provide like unlimited support. Like I'm already exhausted, depleted, overworked, like underpaid, blah. Like I'm like, how can you possibly do that, right? But I get to make those boundaries, right? I get to say, I get to set those boundaries with my clients. Like, hey, yeah, you get unlimited support, which means I'll be in Voxer Monday through Thursday between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Right? I'm not their emergency care provider. I am not their primary care provider. Right? I'm there to help them optimize their health. Okay? So you get to make up your own boundaries, whatever feels best for you. They know right off the bat, I'm not available last week of the month. If I decide to get back to them on Voxer or whatever, that's like a voice note app, just so you guys know if you don't know. If I decide to get back to them, that's my choice. Okay. And then 6 core functional labs with a strategic and comprehensive protocol that works. Okay. That's it. That's my 18K program. Super, super simple. How many of you think that you need to include all kinds of crazy bells and whistles and whatever to charge that much? Or to have that type of fee? I'm curious. It wouldn't surprise me if you did. A lot of us have like worthiness issues, right? Like we need to work more to make more. We need to offer more. We need to like prove, that's the word I was like trying to look for. Like we need to prove something to be able to make a certain amount of money, right? But my ideal clients, of course, I present this in a very different way. I'm not like, yeah, 18K, 6 months, 6 months of, unlimited support in 6 labs. What do you think? My sales calls are very different than that, right? But I think you understand what I'm saying. Ask your questions in the comments. All right. The next thing that's super, 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 super important, maybe the one thing that I feel just like really proud of is the cross-referencing that I teach. And that's because it really helps you complete the picture. It helps to plan your strategy and it helps you to make refinements. And so kind of as examples, for example, the thyroid might be off, whatever that might be. A lot of practitioners that I've seen, they might focus on the thyroid, being like, oh, the thyroid's off. I need to work on the thyroid, instead of looking at the adrenals or micronutrient absorption, right? Because what does the thyroid need to function properly? It needs minerals, no? Right? How closely linked are the adrenals and the thyroid glands? Right? They're like best buds, right? So you need to be looking at the whole picture. Planning your strategy. So as I mentioned previously, there's an order of operations, right? There's a specific flow that I found to work time and time and time and time and time again. And that's addressing the adrenals if needed, if applicable. For most people it is, but not for everybody. Then addressing the gut, then detox, then long-term support based on genomics, organics, all of that kind of stuff. Okay. Then making refinements, monitoring subjective feedback. I have specific tracking mechanisms in place throughout my programs, something I teach inside the Wealth Mentorship, right? Ways to track your client's progress, which is amazing. It helps to keep motivation up, helps keep confidence up, all the good things. But using questionnaires along with test results gives us the ability to make any adjustments that are needed, right? So examples, again, of cross-referencing here. So when it comes to hormones, right? Are you looking at beta-glucuronidase on the GI map? Are you looking at organic acids? Are you looking at functional genomics, right? We need to look at detox pathways, hormone pathways, right? Secretory IgA. Are you looking at intestinal flora, dysbiosis, white blood cell markers with differential organic acids? Nutrient deficiencies. Are you looking at the gut inflammation? Are you looking at organic acids, organ function? All really important things to cross-reference to complete that picture, right? The more you can make it make sense to your clients, your patients, the easier it's going to be for them to follow through, right? They're going to be like, oh my God, this, like, no one's ever explained this to me. You not only validated their experience, because how many times have they been dismissed, right? Just like not seen, heard, or understood by a practitioner. So you've validated their experience and you've explained what's going on. So they're going to look at you and be like, tell me what I can do. I trust you, right? Okay. Of course, we can never forget the health foundations. This is something I emphasize inside of all of my lab modules as well, both inside the mentorship and the standalone lab modules. So nutrition, anti-inflammatory, whole foods, organic, animal protein, hydration, healthy fats, timing of eating, right? Digestion, mindful meal times, choose, cherish, chill, chew, check. The 5 C's. Low toxicity environment, personal care products, cleaning products, air, food, water, EMFs. Considering all this stuff with all my clients, right? And all of these are customized to them, right? There's always little nuances from client to client or patient to patient. So you always want to be addressing these things. Biorhythms, daily biorhythms, monthly biorhythms, sleep, wake, meals, menstrual cycle, moon, ultradian rhythms, movement or hormesis, right? Strength training, hot cold therapy, sprinting. So putting a little bit of stress on the body to actually help it bounce back, improve resiliency, recovery, balance, mobility, nature, deep sleep, heart rate variability, all great things to monitor. So the ripple effect. This is why we do it. I just have that song come in my head. This time do it. You know that song. I should cue that song next time. So you, right? The choices that you make affect how you show up and operate on the day-to-day. You as a practitioner, right? Leadership, decisions, direction. That affects your sphere, right? How you show up affects everyone you come into contact with during your day, team, negotiations, communication, their sphere. That effect is transferred and transmuted throughout every person they encounter, clients, customers, patrons, etc. So you can either be the center there, or this can also be your client, right? So maybe you replace you with my patient or my client. Same, right? You helping them elevate helps this. It's just this huge ripple effect. Like, we have so much potential to shift things, to shift the health paradigm. Right? In my opinion, the health insurance, like, that's done. Like, people over the past couple of years, 3 years almost now, I think they've lost a lot of faith in the healthcare system, right? Okay. Now, my question to you is, if all this did was finally make your program profitable, would it be worth it? If all this did was give you the confidence to start integrating functional labs, would it be worth it? If all this did was give you 1 to 2 high ticket clients per month, would it be worth it? That investment would already be covered, right? 1 month. What is 1 client worth to you? Right? 5K, 10K, 18K, 20K? Who knows, right? How much would you pay to get one high ticket client per month or per week? So little reflection questions. These are just some awesome testimonials. The lab modules inside the mentorship increase my confidence in interpreting and applying functional labs by leaps and bounds. I love the lab module. I've been practicing for years in natural medicine, never received such a clear-cut method for interpreting and developing treatment based on functional lab results. So excited for the updates. I can only imagine how bomb they are. So she's talking about the old modules. So the new modules, the revamped ones, are so good. Lab modules have truly taken my practice to a whole different level. Before them, I was struggling through my analysis of any functional lab, and I was running and not understanding the relationship between all the different data points and what that meant or means for my clients. Now my protocols are so much more complete and potent. The results my clients are getting speak for themselves. Understanding how to interpret the labs and being able to create custom protocols truly is a game changer. Health information is widely available online, but custom lab interpretation is few and far in between. This is what helps set my nutritional practice apart from others. Gina says, the lab modules are so amazingly streamlined with clear-cut solutions to personalized protocols for clients. The detail and passion that has gone into developing these modules is palpable and incredibly well done. Your vision, purpose, and precision is contagious and admirable. More. Like, you guys, these lab modules are freaking, they're so good. They're so good. I have so much in here. You can watch the replay and pause these and read them if you would like. But what step are you willing to take today for you, for your clients? Are you ready? Do you want to do this? Other courses, programs can take 3 to 5 years to get back your initial investment because although they may share a lot of information, but information without implementation is nothing, right? So this is applicable stuff. I don't know how many of you are familiar with like the IFM course. Like I went through all of IFM, right? I have all the things. I just chose not to do the certification because I didn't need extra letters after my name. But what I felt from doing that, spending over $10,000 on that was like, I just had a lot of information, but the implementation, the clinical application was missing. And so this is really what I've infused into these lab modules is the clinical application. Okay. With these modules, you have the potential of getting it back with your very first high ticket program sale, plus getting reliable results will generate additional testimonials, referral, and revenue, right? Money is a renewable resource. I love this philosophy. Money is a renewable resource. Time is not. You cannot get time back, right? So think about it. Do you want someone to walk you through, or do you want to figure it out on your own? What would you do with all of your extra time and money? That's a fun one to think about. If you think of one thing, pop it in the comments. I want to know. Like, what would you do with all of your extra time and money? Like, if you just like sit there and think and imagine, like, I'm thinking about a couple weeks ago when I was riding bareback horseback on the beach in Oaxaca. I'd probably do more of that. So if you still have questions, hopefully you know where to find me. Website, wealthywoman.co, all the social, Facebook. I'm obviously here in the group. You're here in the group. Instagram, wealthywoman.co, and then you can always email me as well, but feel free to send me a message on Instagram, on Facebook, or whatever. Otherwise, have a beautiful rest of your evening, and I will chat with you soon. Bye.
All right, that's a wrap for today. If you want the exact breakdown of how I help practitioners go from their first 5K to consistent 50K months with just 2 offers, 10 hours per week, and an audience of less than 500 people, be sure to click the link in the podcast description or head to wealthywoman.co/breakdown. To make sure you don't miss an episode, be sure to subscribe. And for daily online practice insights, follow me on Instagram at wealthywoman.co. Let's create your life of wealth, full of abundance, purpose, health, wealth, and joy.